Welcome, Somebody Sports fans. We are live on this beautiful Thursday night with a Somebody Sports series straight into draft. Mystic Ninja Cyclones versus the Disco Spiders. Disco Spiders, Sunny Blues, had a bit of a fall from grace last week. Mystic Ninja Cyclones looking to climb the standings, and they just might be able to hop on the head of Disco Spiders on their way up. I think Sunny might still be playing Hearthstone. Ash is going to be the first pick here for Mystic Ninja Cyclones. Thim will be piloting that champion unless it goes to Tubby in the support position, but I doubt we would see that. And then it is going to be the Braum picked up for Plants and Poros, formerly known as Shmi 8. And the Tristana, that is a flex pick for this team. Space Murph can play at bot, or Pyrosis can go ahead and take that thing mid. And it will be the Soraka for Lord Tubbyton. So both bot lanes potentially locked in here. Not sure where that Tristana is going, but the Soraka is definitely going bot with the Ashe. So Mystic Ninja Cyclones willing to show their bot lane early. I assume they're going to go ahead and blind a jungler here for Mr. Ranger. Perhaps the Sejuani, perhaps the Trundle. I can't imagine they would blind a solo lane, but they do actually just go ahead and pick up the Malphite for Asuna, as it looks like Sunny might be back now.
Yeah, I'm still in the Hearthstone game. I do like to see like a secure on a champion like Malphite, especially versus X-Ray. It's definitely like more of a denial blind pick rather than a proactive, like we absolutely have to have this. I think that it'll open up a lot of possibility for them, just like, picking fights as Malphite is usually meant to do for a lot of team comps, and it's a pretty easy solo lane to survive in. Obviously, we do see the Mordekaiser counter pick from X-Ray.
Yeah. Yeah, X-Ray, actually, that's actually not a champion I've seen him on too much. Not the hardest champion to pilot. But nonetheless, top lane is all about matchup knowledge and how you take those micro trades. And then Mordekaiser does have some later game decision making that can come into importance, like who you actually hit with the ultimate. As you see, 2 more bans thrown at Slopan, the Lilia and the Jinzhao, and then 2 more bans thrown the opposite way at neutral Azurill, the Ari and the Oriana. So this is probably going to be the jungler. It looks like it might just be the Hecarim for Sulpan, as they want to give Pyrosis counter pick or at least flex ability with that Tristana. And the Amumu insta-locked in response to the Hecarim. Ranger not putting himself on too much agency so far this season. Really trying to play that facilitator role, pick the front line, pick the CC. And it's going to be a blind Zed. So basically he's saying, don't send the Tristana mid or I'll do things. And that Swain, again, this champion could be going anywhere. Probably going to be a Swain mid here if this does get locked in for Pyrosis.
I think that there is a major problem with one of these drafts, and it is 100%. Like, MNC just has a very low damage profile. For them to actually have a solid damage profile, first of all, the Amumu is going to have to build Demonic, which means that he's going to be very squishy in the early game. And it's also like the entire point of like an Amumu pick is to pair it with like a very strong solo laner that's going to be pumping out magic damage in very large quantities, because it does an like his passive causes a bonus 10% true damage, right? It's not just that 10% of the damage is dealt in true damage, it's a bonus 10%. So personally, if I'm drafting a Mumu, I even want like double AP solo laners because of how strong the passive is. Like, it doesn't matter how much MR you build, it's still going to be getting a lot of value. And here you see MNC with their only actual other source of AP being the Malphite and Soraka. And
yeah, that's a good point.
it just looks like a major draft gap already. Like, I mean, the Hecarim Silas are just two, like, they just have like 3 like absolute 1v9 champions on the side of Disco Spiders in their solo lanes and in their jungle. And obviously, it's going to come down to execution and how both teams play on the map. But just looking at draft, it looks like it's going to go to disco spiders.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you, Sonny. But it is Summit. Things can go completely one-sided in the first 15 minutes in the game can be decided off of that. But yeah, the Ash pick as your primary damage feels pretty bad, and the Zed is not going to be landing the combo on all 5 members of the enemy team. So it's going to be a question of how do they actually take down some of these Disco Spiders players, especially like you said, the Mordekaiser, the Hecarim, and the Silas. Champions that all have some amount of sustain, all have some amount of dueling ability, are going to be very, very hard for Mystic Ninja Cyclones to take down. But there's only one way to find out who will come out on top of this one. Do you think Sunny Blues is wrong about the draft? Well, you can probably do the predictions in Twitch chat. I didn't check. But either way, bet your channel points. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the spectator delay.
Spiel mit Bauklötzern. Ich mauere mit Steinen vorsichtig. Es ist wie das Spiel mit Bauklötzern. Ich sehe meinen leeren Baukasten an. Du brichst meine Mauer arglos mit schmutzigen Händen. An jenem Tag weiß ein feuriges Abendrot. Ich versteckte die Bauklötze vor dir. Traurige Erinnerung an meine Kindheit.
Welcome to game one. Already we're seeing a bit of action and an increase in the music volume. Let's go. Mystic Ninja Cyclones versus the Disco Spiders here. Sunny Blues is about to lose his Hearthstone game, so soon we will have our full attention on this cast.
Yeah, I did get smoked.
Yeah, it happens. Happens to the best of us. Asana with the Coral Malphite skin. I don't know. I think that's actually not Coral Malphite. I don't know if that's just like a Malphite chroma or what, but he's got a white Malphite skin. Pretty cool. It is the Tristana bot. And wait a minute, Sonny. This is Swain. We have Silas in the draft.
They just meant to lock in Silas. Or Swain, I mean. Yeah. They did not, or we were not notified of that, but that's okay. I think Silas would have been absolute banging this game, but
yeah, I feel like the Silas
wanted the Swain.
Yeah, man, Silas into Ashe, Soraka, Amumu, and Malphite seems really, really good. But the Swain isn't bad either. It's another champion that's pretty hard to kill, pretty durable in team fights. And I think it fares a lot better into Zed during the early stages of the game. Already we see Pyrosis with push, as we see a bit of trading towards the top side. Now Neutral Zero caught by the Claw. Gonna try to trade with the Shadow, but sends both the Shurikens over Pyrosis' left shoulder.
I would like to point out that with the Swain being like the same kind of champion that the Mordekaiser and the Hecarim both are, right? These like Juggernaut-ish champions that kind of just like are able to 1v3 if they are ahead. With the three champions that Disco Spiders has drafted, then MNC's only like potential DPS to try to burn them down is the Ashe. And obviously I love the champion, but I do think that is not the best DPS ADC to be playing, especially when you were the sole source of like sustained damage in a team fight. And obviously I don't want to underplay what Zed's able to do once he has his like 4 CDR items, but it just feels like it's going to be extremely difficult for them to actually have an impact in some of these fights, especially if his flash is down. Like, he's just going to get Hecarim ulted on repeat. He's going to get, like, every single E that the Swain is going to be throwing out is going to be aimed directly at him. So I think that it puts a lot of pressure on Thim. And I'd love to see him form, but I don't know if he can do it against, like, such heavy threat from the side of Disco Spiders.
Yeah. No, I think Thim legacy game potentially is to see a gang towards the mid lane. Pyrosis is able to flash away. Ranger trades his flash, Neutral Azrael pops the ignite, and Pyrosis also uses his ghost. As maybe Thim in a bit of trouble as Plants and Poros go for the trade with Space Murph. They pop the stun, but PNP takes the tower shot on his way out, and Lord Tubbyton not letting him get away scot-free.
So back in the mid fight, Pyrosis just like very casually sidestepped the bandage shots from the Amumu, which is probably what sealed the fact that he was able to walk out after flashing over the wall. But I do think that trying to get this Zed ahead is exactly what the Amumu wants to do. I think that it's the only lane that he can play for with a lot of efficiency in the early game, especially playing against a Swain, a champion that kind of takes a while to turn on, a champion that needs to scale up. So I think that if he's able to repeat gank and pull something off and get neutral Azuro a lead, and they're able to transfer that around the map well, I think that is exactly how they're going to win this game.
Austin is kind of getting the best of X-Ray here in the top lane. I'm not sure how this matchup is supposed to go. Honestly, I feel like we'd have to ask a DV4 VP. But I think Austin is playing it really, really well, even in CS, but has a significant health advantage. And the wave is now pushing into him, so might be able to make a play. Ranger is nowhere to be found, though. It looks like the Mystic Ninja Cyclones are going to go for an early Drake instead. They're going to go ahead and start it up. The bot lane for Disco Spiders is all the way in the base. So even though Soulpan was able to sniff this out, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about it, especially with the Zed being able to move first. X-Ray looking for the solo kill. Austin that hits level 6, but he has no mana. Neutral Azuro pops the death mark. He's going to go in on Pyrosis, but he just used the Shuriken, so he just blows the cooldown.
So the top lane matchup, I do think that it is like Malphite's able to trade and get some like positive trades in like the first 5 levels probably, but like the moment Mordekaiser has ultimate, I'm pretty sure he just sends the Malphite to Brazil and wallops him.
Yeah, but he's gonna send him to the Bronx.
Yeah, if it takes longer than that, then eventually the Mordekaiser will just end up winning the like trade or the all-in, because once Malphite is in, then there's not very many ways to. Pyrosis does secure the first blood, and the waves do get traded, so technically that's worth for Pyrosis. Obviously,
a little 1v1.
Yeah, I do think that it's a. So you see, like, Pyrosis is 6 out. He does ult here after Zed goes in off of his W, and I mean, the timing on it was just very, very comical, I'd say, right? Just like one after another. It wasn't like Ignite or anything like that. It was literally like the auto proc or something like that that killed Swain there.
Yeah, I know, that was quite the spectacle. Honestly, that's why I like watching Pyrosis. He does some silly stuff sometimes, but he's obviously a very, very good player, very, very effective as he lands the Never Move. That's quite a bit of damage from that combo, just off the Lost Chapter. So the Swain getting up and running, the Zed the same, already on the Tiamat Vamp Scepter. Down 10 CS though here to the Swain, and then in the bot lane, it's actually a pretty decent CS lead for Space Murph on the Tristana. 11 CS at 8 minutes is nothing to scoff at, especially when Thim is going to have to be the carry. But Space Murph may be in a little bit of trouble. Tubby lands both spells, and Thim dishing out the autos as Soulpan moves into the top lane, but won't be able to find much.
I do like to see them punishing the Tristana walking too far away from her support there. I do think that it is very illegal for you to go up and try to clear that control ward. At the time, I wasn't sure if they knew where the Amumu was, but that is definitely a small like micro mistake on the side of Space Murph. So he's not going to be able to look for like an all-in here, and that's kind of what they want to be able to do in the bot lane playing from Tristana, right? They kind of want to be able to all-in onto the Soraka, but with Space Murph already at like half HP, then there's just no chance that they can even think about that.
I mean, one of the things that I have learned in my bot lane journey is when you're playing the lane that wants to kill, your HP is a very, very valuable commodity. And if you get chunks, you suddenly have no agency, you're slightly outranged, the enemy lane has way more sustain, and there's just nothing you can do, and you're never going to be able to take a good recall without jungle assistance. And so Space Murph and Plants and Poros are not in too deep. They're not in any significant trouble, but they lose a lot of their playmaking that they drafted into this lane. But overall, the game is kind of stabilizing. No significant gold lead anywhere. The Rift Herald will go the way of Disco Spiders. Soulpan was able to pick that one up with X-Ray. And now Soulpan may be going to be able to move towards bot as we actually see an engage here from Plants and Poros. They're splitting their damage though. Space Murph is onto Thim, but Plants and Poros is onto Tubby, and now they're at both. They swap again. Thim is putting out the damage, and Lord Tubbington is able to heal him, but they go back in with a rocket jump, and now Ranger is here. The Curse of the Sad Mummy finds both Disco Spiders bot lanes, and 2 members goes down, but crucially, none of those kills went to Thim. It's now X-Ray sends Asuna to visit Red Ranger in the Bronx. But Asuna is going to be able to find the unstoppable force. He finds the damage and he dodges the cube, and X-Ray is just too big. The solo kill sensation adds another name to the list.
I thought you were going to call him the solo kill sensei for a second. That made me laugh. But with the bot fight, that's actually so big that it did not go over to the Ashe, and now you just you just see how fun it is playing in a mobile ADC versus a Hecarim as he ghosts and R's onto the Ashe's forehead. And we'll get a replay of this bot engage. You see, like, they just, like, completely swapped who they were both hitting, and that's, if they just both focus the Soraka there, I think that they're able to burn her down and then move on to the Ashe, like, very effectively, and probably pick up 2 or at least get 1 for 0.
Yeah, the Hecarim Gaming does use his Ghost and his ultimate there, so not going to have it available for this Dragon fight. Disco Spider is going to go ahead and start this one up. Neutral Zero is down here already on the bot side of the map. Space Murph is under the bot tower. So it looks like Mystic Ninja Cyclones actually have control of the river. They are on the Rift Scuttle Vision. But the Disco Spiders are way too far away. And that's 2 Drakes now picked up for the side of Mystic Ninja Cyclones.
Yeah, I will say that in competitive, the first 2 dragons do kind of matter. But I think that a lot of teams panic a little bit more whenever they see the other team pick up 2 dragons. I think that they're overestimated on the actual value of like 2 mismatched dragons. I think that once it comes to like 3rd and 4th, right? I'm sweating a lot more when the enemy team gets the 3rd and 4th dragon after my team got the first 2. I do think that the first 2 are like big for like momentum and stuff like that, but being able to like stack 3 or 4 the same dragon is absolutely insane for the stats.
Ooh. Austin and a Ranger find X-Ray, the Curse of the Sad Mummy. They might just throw this one over to the Zed as soon as Asuna gets back from New York. He might actually be able to find the kill in the Death Realm. No, the mace does not connect in the afterlife. Asuna claims the kill onto X-Ray. 1-1 is the score for both top laners.
That was just X-Ray not being fully aware of where he's allowed to walk on the map. I do think that getting a deep ward is very valuable for your team, but you have to kind of time it, or it's like a little bit of like prediction and like deduction on knowing where the enemy jungler is or where the enemy mid laner is on whether you're actually free to walk in to get the deep ward.
Yeah, Will cost him his life, nearly took Ranger with him. But that just goes to show, Sunny, like what you were talking about in draft. Just the lack of damage from this competition. As Stim is now in big trouble, but the Crystal Arrow will find Space Murph, but he immediately cleanses it in the rocket jump to secure the kill and the flash over the wall. Space Murph smooth with it on the tower
dive. A little
dive.
stylish, I see it.
Yeah.
Again, they did burn the Ignite for the heal cut, but obviously neither of them have actually itemized into getting heal cut built into their kit, which I do think hurt a little bit there. I think having the Ignite cooldown up was big, but I think that if one of them just itemizes Grievous Wounds early and they take Exhaust on the Braum for the Zed, I think that it'll be like really big value later, and you see like he just I'm trying to know like I guess he just saw him after he walked out of the bush and just figured like that's free, and Thim kind of like accepted taking the fight, which probably is not what an Ashe should want to do. And the Ashe actually has Ravenous Hydra built with a Tear of the Goddess, and 1 stack left on Cole. So
wait, I'm not familiar. What is Thim cooking?
Okay, so
is this like meta or what?
I do not think so. It might be like a new cheese build, but obviously, Ravenous Hydra is the first item in the full CDR Z build. So the CDR Ashe with like building like lethality and stuff like that, it is kind of a thing. I don't think that it's worth actually playing it. I don't think it's actually that great, especially in a game like this. And the 3v3
down here. Playing Sapporo's. Ooh, Thim goes for the flash, but the attack moves into the ward. And now Soulpan goes back in with the onslaught of shadows, and Thim is immediately the target. Space Mirror very, very low, but he will end up falling to Lord Tubbyton, as Tubby is the next target. But on the top side of the fight, we have the Swain versus the Zed. Oh, the Swain actually 1v2s the Amumu and the Zed. Yeah. Pyrosis gets a double kill. This is huge for Disco Spiders. They go 4 for 1, and they're going to go ahead and take the bot tower here as X-Ray TP's down.
And yeah, you see X-Ray TP down, but Asuna just held his, I guess. Maybe he just thought that the fight was too lost, and obviously it added numbers advantage to the fight that was happening near the alcove, but the fact that Pyrosis was able to 1v2 just makes that entire like scenario always lose.
So yeah, I don't think Asuna TPing.
Yeah, I do think that Asuna not TPing is not like optimal or like what you should be doing, but obviously like Pyrosis getting the 1v2 off is just like toot Pyrosis' horn for a minute. This dude's an animal, but like it makes it very difficult to try to speculate like a situation where they win when Pyrosis is getting the 1v2 basically.
Right. It's like in principle, you know, your Malphite should probably TP, but in actuality, you know, maybe holding it was the better play, because he does have it now, but Asuna has actually walked to the Drake. Is they're going to go in on X-Ray. He does not have the ultimate available, so he's forced to flash it out. Plants and Poros caught in the midst of the Mystic Ninja Cyclone as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide, and now with the health bar advantage, MNC might look to start up the Drake. Thim still trying to poke. Neutral Zerl also contributing to the zoning effort, and now Pyrosis. This is a level 11 Swain. No stopwatch, but he has Leandries and Orb. I'm not sure that the Disco Spiders can fight this. X-Ray's health bar is so low. Plants and Poro is also 2/3 HP. Ranger looking for the bandage toss. Has the Curse of the Sad Mummy available, but no flash. Is the Dragon now participating in the fight, taking out some of these health bars. Ranger says he's going to be the one to take it as he walks up with the onslaught of shadows onto the backline. Soulpan has found Thim, but Ranger finds 4 with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Thim goes down first. Ranger is next to fall. The health bars of the Disco Spiders are dropping for some, but very, very high for the rest. 3 members remain. Soulpan, X-Ray, and Pyrosis on to the Drake as the bot lane for Disco Spiders goes down, and the 80 carry mid and jungler from Mystic Ninja Cyclones fall.
So, in that fight, then obviously Soulpan got a huge ultimate onto the backline of MNC, but Neutral Azura was able to get onto the Tristana, but like what I was kind of like trying to emphasize is like the Tristana doesn't really matter. You know, like ADC matters, but it's like he goes in, kills their bot lane, but in the time that it takes him, he gets one shot himself. Right? Like, they do damage too, so it's kind of like difficult to try to actually assassinate the ADCs.
Yeah, Soulpan cut out here will be taken down by the Amumu. That is a bounty onto Ranger. Yeah, this is like pretty much what we talked about in draft. It's not about the bot lane, it's about these 3 juggernauts that Disco Spiders have drafted that frankly Mystic Ninja Cyclones just don't have the damage for in their composition. It's about how they're going to kill the Swain, the Hecarim, and the Mordekaiser, as they will be able to claim this Rift Herald. Pyrosis is going to try to go for the steal, but not much to do here. As yep, that one will go the way of Mystic Ninja Cyclones.
Man, I'm just like looking at this Ashe build and I'm getting a headache because I do like the Ashe build, like the full CDR lethality build, but it's just, I don't think that it's what he needs to be building. And obviously when it comes to like execution, I don't even think it's really execution. I think a lot of it's just like decision making for the side of Disco Spiders as to why they're not farther ahead. Just like a couple like missed tempo plays on when they're resetting and what calls they're making have kind of thrown a few situations into the favor of MNC. But I think that if Thim had, you know, Kraken Slayer, it's like probably be able to do a little bit more. I don't think that he's going to be able to ult the Hecarim defensively. And
yeah,
it feels like the entire comp is built around allowing the Zed to get a pick, but come, you know, 3-4 items, he's not going to one-shot the Hecarim, the Swain, or the Mordekaiser. And the moment that Space Murph decides to build GA, as he's playing Tristana who can W away from like a Zed ult, then it's it just feels like their comp is not very suited to play into any of these champions.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's such an uphill battle without like kind of a 1v9 Ashe build. And, you know, honestly, I'm not really familiar with the tech. I asked my Ashe expert and he gave me the shrug on the status of this build. But I do agree with you. I feel like Kraken Slayer, you know, you play on hit, you have maybe more potential to carry a fight, rather than the lethality. Where, to my knowledge, at least, maybe I need to ask my my Ashe support expert. What can the lethality build really do into these bigger health bars? Like, I don't know how you ever kill a Swain as lethality Ashe. Like, how many times do you have to W this guy? Disco Spiders
slow down the fight.
Okay, PPP said the Ashe build is bad, so that means it must be catastrophic. Austin, it goes in, finds the 2-man, the 3-man unstoppable force, but he's all alone. It's now Ranger is here for the 3-man Curse of the Sad Mummy. X-Ray takes Thim on a trip to Queens, but Thim will win that in the Death Realm. The Ashe is cooking, but Pyrosis is cooking even more as he floats menacingly towards Thim. Will not find the Never Move, but it's a triple kill for the Tristana. Neutral Zero flashing in now onto Pyrosis. He pops the Swain. Now he's onto the Tristana. Neutral Zero, what can you do? Not enough as he goes down, and now Thim is the next target. It goes 5 for 3 across the map. Sunny, we dissed the Disco Spiders bot lane, but they just carried the fight.
I mean, it just comes down to like the Zed using some of his cooldowns onto the Swain to secure the kill, and it's an assassin. So here you do see like the very large ultimate coming from the Amumu, and unfortunately Thim was not actually able to capitalize on it because he did get put into the Shadow Realm. And afterwards, that it just happens to be a chase, Neutral Zero with a later rotation than Pyrosis had, so he did not have like a lot of impact other than just being able to pick up the kill on the back end after expending his flash. But it's I feel like I did downplay the fact that it is a Tristana that does do a lot of burst damage and is able to one-shot the Ashe or the Zed. So it's like the biggest problem with the comp of MNC is that they can't actually one-shot 3 of the members very well, or 4 of the members very well. And the one that they can one-shot also one-shots them, right? So it's a very dangerous game that MNC has to play, and they have to try to slow down these fights extraordinarily for the Ashe build to like really get going, because it is a poke build, right? Does do quite a bit of damage with it, as we're like seeing like over time. Like if you're able to kind of like kite out some of these fights, play them very slow, the Hydra stacking on grouped up enemies is going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, Ranger goes in on the plants and forest, but he's stunned up by the Braum passage. As the Glacial Fissure finds 3, but the unstoppable force from Austin on the backside finds 3 as well. Neutral Zero onto Space Murphy, already finds the kill on the plants and forest. The Tristana will be next to fall, but Thim dies in Manhattan. Is now Soulpan onto the backline, takes down Lord Tubbington, takes down Neutral Zero, and the 3 juggernauts of Disco Spiders survive, and now they have set their sights onto Baron Nashor. It's a triple kill for the Disco Spiders captain.
You know, it feels like every time I talk about the comps, you know, it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, the Tristana does one-shot you, so have fun trying to one-shot her. And then they end up one-shotting them. And they're consistently hitting like these like monster teamfight wombo combos with the Malphite Amumu, but it just literally does not matter because they do not have a control mage who's able to like toss a bunch of damage on top of it. You see like the wombo happen, and then the Tristana does end up dying, but like the Mordekaiser just ran at the ADC. You know, like there's not much that can
counterplay
be
there.
Done there. Yeah, right.
Hit
like,
him with the chopped cheese.
Yeah, he ended up killing him by wolves, and the fight started in river. It's not like he's like kiting poorly. It just just feels like so bad playing an immobile ADC who's also kind of like memed for being a low damage ADC as well.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, like if they're gonna draft like this, if they're gonna draft like double tank Enchanter, like pick Jinx, pick Kog'Maw, pick Aphelios, like let Thim be Thim and try to 1v9 the game. Like putting this guy on Ashe, I get that it's priority, just does not seem like it's setting themselves up for success. As Soulpan is getting wicked in the side lane, Ranger will be the next target. Maybe finds the Blast Plant to safety. The Curse of the Sad Mummy will keep him alive temporarily. But that's really just the cooldown gone, and the Soraka ultimate also gone as Ranger goes down. 2 ultimates expended by Mystic Ninja Cyclones, and in the end, 2 lives lost and a tower. Is X-Ray also pushing in this top inner?
And I mean, all 5 members of Disco Spiders are still up, and they do have Baron buff in all 3 of the lanes, so they're going to be able to just, you know, slowly chip away at these in-hit powers. The Ashe does actually effectively clear out the Baron minions surprisingly well, especially from like such a large distance or such a long distance. And I mean, top lane, you need to rotate the
3
Ashe
cannon
up there.
minions.
Yeah, you gotta rotate.
X-Ray's got shooters.
That, dude.
X-Ray's got goons, bro.
X-Ray has a straight firing squad in the top lane right now. Man, it does look like they decided to reset. Probably for a Infernal Dragon that is going to be spawning soon in over 1 minute because there's not an hourglass on the minimap yet. And it just showed 1 minute remaining on the 5th dragon of the game, and it will be the 3rd Infernal Dragon for the side of Disco Spiders if they are able to secure it. And that's kind of what I was talking about. I think that like the moment that they get 2 Infernal Drakes, their 2 dragons are already more valuable than the 2 dragons that MNC has. And if they're able to get a 3rd, that is detrimental for MNC even hoping to win this game. Especially with the lead that Disco Spiders now has been able to build for themselves. They're, what is that, like 6K, like 7K ahead. And a lot of that lead is in the jungle on the Hecarim, and in the Swain's actually behind. Okay, and then the ADC has a lead as well. And then it's just like the 2 tanks on the side of MNC, both very far behind, and being paired with like carry matchups or like Juggernaut matchups. The Juggernauts are going to be just as tanky when they are ahead of the tanks. And I mean, that dragon just burned away. There wasn't even like time for MNC to try to get in there. So now if Disco Spiders is not able to win the game in the next 5 minutes, then they have a win con on the map with the Infernal Soul.
Yeah, this is a bit unwinnable. You know, you always say that in a Summit game, and somehow it goes the other way. But especially with Space Murph building like mathematically correct, the extra AD is just so gross on this Tristana. going to be doing as much damage as Zed if given the time and the safety. And then, of course, Pyrosis, the damage over time with the AP boost is going to be huge. As Sulpan might be caught, Ranger goes in with the Curse of the Sad Mummy and Thim firing away, but the Onslaught of Shadows finds him immediately, and Thim is dead already. The fight is over. Ranger is next. Sulpan and Pyrosis diving the Nexus Towers looking for Lord Tubbyton. Sulpan tanking Neutral Zero tries to find the kill, and he does, but X-Ray will not be able to avenge his jungler as Neutral Zero goes back to the Shadow on the other side of the map, and now Asuna able to kite back to his own fountain as both soul laners left alive for both teams. Not quite sure what happened to the Disco Spiders bot lane, but somehow they went down in that fight. And Pyrosis and X-Ray with low health bars. Neutral Zero is pissed sprinting at X-Ray, but he finds himself at JFK. Is X-Ray going to be able to find the kill in the Shadow Realm? Yes! Misses the mace swing, but Neutral Zero almost finds the outplay. But against X-Ray, man, you just can't.
Moving on, how I'm pretty sure the Swain or the Mordekaiser was what, like 3 levels up on the Zed there. That's just like I'm pretty sure we'll see whenever he respawns. I'm pretty sure I saw 14 for the Zed, and it just kind of goes to show like how hard they have been able to snowball this game in such a short amount of time. And I'd have to say like the biggest thing is that getting a takedown at this point in the game is worth a lot of XP. So the champions that have gotten a lot of XP from these takedowns are going to be the Hecarim, going to be the Sway, the Mordekaiser's picked up a few as well. And you really see those level disparities in the solo lanes and in the jungle, right? The jungle, like the Hecarim is 3 levels up on the Amumu right now.
Yeah. Sulpan playing very, very well. Maybe caught out here though, but there's just not enough damage. The Onslaught of Shadows immediately onto the Ashes. Ranger dies on the backline. Sulpan 1v2ing the bot lane. He kills Tubby with pure AoE and collects them next. It's a double kill for the Hecarim, and the game is over. Neutral Zero recalling from the Tribush. Can't do anything here. The level 15 Zed does not have the damage or really any hope at all as the towers fall. Both Nexus towers down, and the Nexus will boom as well. Disco Spiders in dominant fashion go ahead and claim game 1 of this series. Of course, we will be back for the second game. This is a best of 3, and we're actually going to go ahead and get straight into draft. It's a Summit Miracle.
I love watching that last fight because it's like, was Tubbyton's positioning bad? Probably not, right? Like he's standing next to his ADC, and it's like he's healing his ADC, and his ADC was living, but very soon after the Hecarim starts getting his Qs through on the fight, then it's just like you're getting punished for healing your ADC, like really punished a lot, and all of a sudden like the Soraka wasn't even getting focused by the Hecarim, and they were at like the same percentage of HP.
Yeah, honestly, tough stuff when like you're watching your Ashe try to kite to safety and you're running with your Ashe, and every time that Sulpan presses Q on his keyboard, you just lose an eighth of your health bar. But credit to Sulpan, farmed very, very well. Found some great ultimates. The one that really stands out to me is that Drake fight, kind of where Disco Spiders got their first Drake and they kind of broke up in the game. He found the ultimate onto multiple members and then was able to push them into the team. And it felt like, say what you want about the Ashe build, but we never really got to see a chance to see it cook, just because Sulpan was consistently finding Thim in the fights. And in reality, as the Ashe, there's not too much you could do.
Yeah, I would say that it is a really bad game to play the build. I have seen the build work before, not with the Hydra. I saw it back before they added like the stacking to the Hydra. But it is an entertaining build to play. I do think that it's very fun being able to like shoot off of volleys, like every like 1 second. Um, the cooldown does get very low as you get, like 4 items or something like that, and you should have like maximized CDR in your runes. So it is an entertaining build. I just do not think that it was the right game to play it in.
Yeah.
I really hope that he doesn't like give up on the pick entirely or like on the build path entirely. I do think that it would be very entertaining to see it again in a better scenario for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think one more thing before we actually are going to go to a break. I think if you're Mystic Ninja Cyclones, you don't beat yourself up over that. Draft Gap go next, which is what we're going to do right now as we hop into a break before we get into the game 2 draft.
Oder der Schöpfer mit der Glut des Kreuzes schwenken wir die Schwerter. Ist das unser Schicksal oder unser Wille? Wir werden kämpfen, bis dieser heiße Wind unser Beflügel nimmt. Es ist wie das Spiel mit Bauklötzen. Ich mauere mit Steinen vorsichtig. Es ist wie das Spiel mit Bauklötzen. Ich sehe meinen leeren Baukasten an. Du brichst meine Mauer arglos mit schmutzigen Wänden. Ich tu nichts in Demut bis dann. Ich will nichts verlieren. Ich versteck da die Bauklötze vor dir. Ich mauere wieder mit Steinen vorsichtig.
Welcome back. We are already in the game 2 draft as the Jarvan will be banned away from Sulpan and Austin as Yone taken away along with Rangers Nunu. Austin as Yone, pretty scary, honestly. I think teams have kind of learned their lesson that guy is very, very effective on the champion. It complements Rangers champion pool extremely well since Ranger normally indexes into tank junglers. Zoe taken away as well.
I do think that keeping Asuna off of the Yone is a very big I think it's very big for every single team playing against MNC. I do not think that allowing him to play the Yone is a very good decision. I think that fundamentally the character is quite overpowered and very capable of like kind of 1v9ing games no matter what composition he is playing into. And he's shown in the past that he's able to carry with it. And just moving on to like the picks that are actually happening, then DS did feel very comfortable with the Braum, so comfortable that they're willing to first pick it after leaving the Ornn open. MNC also having left the Ornn open, so we'll see if it is picked up in second rotation for Disco Spiders.
Yeah. I mean, so far this is actually just like the flip of the draft last game, where the Ash was the blue side one, and then the Braum was the response. This time it's the Braum and then the Ash. So far so same. Oh man, I'm gonna be sick, bro. If Disco Spiders lock in Tristana here, I'm gonna be sick. I guess the advantage is that Disco Spiders is probably forced to blind pick a jungler here on blue side 3, but
I mean,
yeah,
the
I
Ornn is
know
open,
Sulpan is
right?
laughing right now for sure.
The Ornn is open. I don't know if he has any power picks for the jungle, right? The Hecarim is gone. The J4 is also gone. So I feel like maybe picking something that's able to combat the enemy jungler a little bit more, or kind of countering that out a little bit harder than last game will possibly be the play for Disco Spiders. I do think that first picking the Ornn is not a terrible idea, but there it is, right? Like the Ornn's up. We all know who X-Ray is. He's gonna pick the Ornn, and Ranger does actually just respond with the Trundle. At least I'm going to assume that is for Ranger. He's played it before. He looks really good on the pick, and obviously it will just completely take away the defensive stats for a champion on the side of DS. And I mean, if the Ashe builds the same thing, I mean, I guess is a really good like tool to pair it with. Um, kind of help her do literally any damage to a tank. Um, then the second rotation of bans here, starting out with the Lilia for the side of MNC, and the Gwen ban. Obviously, it's like the go-to matchup for a lot of top laners. Whether Asuna plays it or not, I don't know. Um, and then the Swain was also regarded as a problem, so they've banned away 2 of the Juggernaut champions that they had to deal with last game, and their top laner on Disco Spiders is already picked, so they will 100% be dealing with 2 different threats this game.
Yeah, I'm glad that they do have some answer to the Ornn. I think the Trundle is good. Ornn is going to get those tank stats, and later in the game, when he has the ornament on himself, Trundle will also be able to usurp some of those benefits. But still, like you said, this is X-Ray. It's his best champion. He's known for finding solo kills in lane on the Ornn. Taking away the Swain, I think, is a good call. Pyrosis looked pretty menacing on that champion last game.
Please.
The Vayne here.
Asuna, please get the pick. Asuna
I
has he has complained to me so much that his teammates don't let him play what he wants to play, and I'm so happy that he just got to pick the Vayne top. And I'm just waiting for the curveball. It's actually an Ash top Vayne ADC, but I really hope that's not the case. I do love to see the Vayne pick, right? Asuna is in a general style, kind of a 1v9 carry kind of player, or somebody that does look to carry games that hard. And with the Yon banned out, then his signature carry is off the table. So I do like that he's able to find a scenario where he's able to play a different carry.
Yeah, man. I pray this is an Asuna legacy game. I absolutely pray. Also, I love that the Summit meta has become picking Vayne into Ornn. That is so hype, bro. As we see the Belveth picked for Sulpan and the Lysandra for Pyrosis. So I think that the Disco Spiders draft this time is a lot less oppressive. It's a lot less unbeatable. I think Pyrosis on Lysandra is honestly good for Mystic Ninja Cyclones. It's not a champion that will completely take over the game. Plenty of playmaking, plenty of roam ability, but is not going to 1v9 a team fight, as the Syndra would be a pretty hot response.
So I will say, for the side of DS, then because MNC does have 2 ADCs on their team, DS just has a load of CC, right? All 4 champions having some form of CC uh, to apply onto an enemy champion, and Obviously, the layering of the Ornn and Lissandra is what we're going to be looking at in these team fights for these Wombos on the side of DS. If they're able to catch multiple of the squishy members of MNC inside of the Ornn ultimate, on, with like the Lissandra layering her damage on top, I think that MNC is just going to evaporate before our eyes, right? Their only somewhat tanky champion is going to be the Trundle. Once Trundle ults the Ornn, then he is going to get vastly tankier. And personally, I'm wondering if the Trundle will actually opt to go into a more supportive build. Maybe he goes into, say, goes like Ravenous Hydra into Radiant Virtue. I don't know if that's actually viable for jungle. That's what I would build. I would build Radiant Virtue as Trundle support. But again, I don't even know how effective it would be. I don't think that they have enough damage to one-shot the entire backline of MNC, which is literally 4 people. So I do think that there would be value from the Radiant Virtue regardless. But it's, I mean, after looking at the Ashe build last game into the enemy team, I'm just really hoping I don't see it again into DS. But I mean, it looks better building it this game than it did last game for sure, right? The Bel'Veth and Lissandra, you're actually going to be able to get some value off of that poke damage.
Dude, I am just stoked to see the Vayne top. I just watched a pretty funny clip from the Mystic Ninja Cyclonez mid laner stream. I probably shouldn't be advertising that. But I am so excited for this match. So we will go ahead and get right into this one. After the spectator delay, of course, we'll have game 2. Disco Spiders took the first one. Mystic Ninja Cyclonez looking to bounce back in a big way here. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
event, and it was also the most entertaining break I've had between games in quite a while. But now we get to focus on the Asuna playing the Vayne in the top lane versus X-Ray's Ornn. I don't know how much X-Ray has played against a top lane Vayne, and I don't even know how much Vayne Asuna has played himself. So the biggest problem with the Vayne pick is that it is, it's not, like. Okay, I'm just gonna stop talking about that and talk about this real quick. So Sulpan did actually start Rangers Raptors, and Rangers started his red buff, so they're right next to each other clearing their first camp, and it looks like they just shake hands. I don't know. That's quite the silly little interaction from both teams in the top side of MNC's jungle.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Rangers actually going for the Krugs now instead of just trying to like 3-camp and gank bot, because he knows that Sulpan's tempo is delayed if he wants to get a full clear plus Rangers on Raptors. But now they're gonna make it down there around the same time. Rangers should make it a little quicker. But yeah, nothing too interesting happening thus far. Asuna going to be able to slow push a wave into the Ornn. I do wonder, how many times has he ever played this matchup? I'm going to say probably 0, based on the fact that he plays mid lane in solo queue. But either way, I'm here for it. Shouldn't be too hard to execute. I feel like you just freeze the wave, slow push, freeze, and then make the Ornn's life miserable. Bit of trading in the mid lane towards Pyrosis. Lord Tubbington and Thim on the same bot lane as they were last game, against the same bot lane. Seem to be doing a little better so far, though.
So what I was talking about before, I was, paying attention to the early camp or the early clears of the junglers, is that I've played some Vayne top. Obviously, I'm not an expert at playing marksman, but it feels very difficult to play the game if a tank gets even a little bit ahead of you, and your spacing has to be perfect at like every point in the game for you to actually be able to abuse the lead that you inherently get from being a ranged champion, or that you're supposed to inherently get. We already see in the top lane they're completely even on farm. The health bar is not really looking that bad for X-Ray on the Ornn either, and I mean there's just some pretty heavy trading happening in this mid lane, and I don't know if you actually noticed this, Joe, but Sulpan actually skipped his blue buff to be able to make it down to the bot lane in time for Ranger to also be down there. And now he's able to just go back up, clear his blue, clear the Scuttle, probably going to Scuttle first, just for the efficiency on it. And Ranger just checking to make sure that he cleared everything in the bot side, and he's actually going to be spotted in vision of the Pixel Brush. And with him being there, if Pyrosis gets caught, that's...
Yeah, Pyrosis will be able to take the claw away, has just enough mana. Ooh, nice root, as now Sulpan is here onto neutral as Earl. Oh, man, I wish I was tuned into his stream 3 minutes in the future. First blood, Sulpan finds it.
And that is actually so detrimental for Ranger, right? Because, of course, he does end up being able to pick up the wave XP, but he loses a camp again, right? He has not been able to collect his Raptors once this game yet out of the 2 times that it's been spawned on the map. And I was going to say that if Ranger doesn't make a play there, then Sulpan would be able to just have like first move into the topside jungle, and he'd probably be able to clear Raptors and then maybe even go up and clear Krugs before Ranger even got to him, because of how far he would have to path away. And after all of the trades on micro, or on like the jungle pathing and the macro that just happened, then Sulpan is able to clear, but it leaves Ranger with having to gank again, just trying to run down.
Yeah, X-Ray in a bit of trouble. Austin is able to find the condemn. Asuna game, baby! X-Ray goes back in with the Bellows Breath. It's a solo kill for Asuna onto the Ornn. It's a solo kill. Trust me on that one. X-Ray gets solo killed by Asuna. Let's go. Asuna is losing in CS, though. That's a bit concerning. But, you know, they even up the kill score. And putting the gold on the Vayne is never, ever bad. Certainly, especially in such a favorable matchup like into the Ornn.
And Asuna did not have to flash there. He does have flash ghost, so he did actually pop the ghost. And you see the early flash away from X-Ray. I don't think that he needed to flash quite yet. I think that he could have potentially tried to stall out a little bit longer before he flashed, tried to prevent a condemn, but it's the Ranger flashed after him to get the Q slow on, and oh, what a beautiful condemn from Asuna there to prevent the knock up or the dash from the Ornn. If he's able to consistently do that in this lane, it will be extremely oppressive, especially as Asuna continues to try to grow a lead if he is not affected by Soulpan on the Bel'Veth.
Yeah, Asuna. Honestly, this game is kind of about him, at least for now. But I think it's not an easy game for Vayne to play at all, at least not with a QSS. That's going to be really, really important. As X-Ray is actually going to opt into this trade. Asuna, low on mana, does have the ultimate available. X-Ray summons the call of the Force God. Asuna, if you die here, it is over. Soulpan shows up, and Asuna is able to flash away, but they're going to go for the dive. Asuna cannot outplay it. Soulpan finds the kill, but will die for his troubles. So it goes 1-for-1 off the gank. And now Ranger is onto the Dragon. Neutral Zero here looking for Pyrosis. Lysandra not going to be able to contest this one by herself. So it goes 1-for-1 in top, and the Drake goes the way of Mystic Ninja Cyclones. Playing Temporos, though, looking for a trade. Knows that the Disco Spiders junglers cannot be here. Stim! The Enchanted Crystal Arrow does connect, but not enough for a kill as PMP flashes away.
So, when it comes to the top lane and that death for Asuna, he loses a lot of XP and gold on the minion wave that was crashed, and he did trade a kill, and I'm unsure if he got a bounty off of it, whether he got like a bonus like 150 or something like that, but it was only a 2-kill or two kill like killing spree for Soulpan, so at this point in the game, I'm unsure if it would 100% give him a shutdown. But you do see a 300 gold lead in the top lane for the Vayne, and that is only 300 because the Ornn was actually able to secure a plate on Asuna's death.
Yeah, honestly, 300 gold is not very big. Granted, it is still 9 minutes into the game, but you want to see a lot more than that. The fact that X-Ray is farming evenly is absolutely huge. This Ranger is in a bit of trouble. Goes for the blue buff invade. Immediately gets hit by the Buster Shot. He's not going to be able to take the Blast Plant away. But with Lord Tubbington there, he's going to be able to walk out as now Asuna again the target. He throws down the ultimate, hunting demons, but he looks like he will be taken down by the Manta Ray. No, the Soraka ultimate saves him, but he goes back in to try to secure the kill on X-Ray and will be taken down by Soulpan. The Vayne experiment is not going well.
And that's just what I was saying. Like, the Ornn didn't even have to get a lead. He built Tabbies and Warden's Mail, and like, look at how much damage his autos are doing. Like, that's not what you want to see. As the Vayne, obviously he did opt out for building the Berserkers, and I don't think he played it necessarily poorly. I do think that him not having Flash for that fight and only having Ghost is very unfortunate for him. And see Ranger trying to get such a great pillar from Ranger onto X-Ray, just being able to pick up the free 300 gold from Disco Spider's top laner.
Yeah, I think honestly, one way that Mystic Ninja Cyclones might have back in this game is the Syndra into the Lysandra, approaching a potential kill window here in the next couple minutes. Is Plains and Poros gonna find the control ward. Space Murph alone in the bot lane, but with the Soraka Ashe and no Yeah, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow actually is available for Thim, but they're not going to go ahead and use it, which means that there's no kill threat onto the Tristana, especially with the rocket jump available. And Pyrosis in a bit of trouble. The orbs are coming down, but he's forced to claw away, and he will survive. And Sunny Blues. Caulfield's a Warhammer on Ash. What does that build into? Tier? Oh, man.
No, it's T-Mat. Or not T-Mat, it's Ravenous Hydra.
Oh, yeah, the meta.
Yeah, he is building optimal Ash right now. Once again with CDR, and the solo kill for neutral Azuro in the mid lane. Actually, Pyros is just overstaying after already getting chunked, having Flash Ignite with his jungler just never playing around mid lane. We'd love to see it, but I guess you really can't flame Soulpad for having 3 kills to all of his other collective teammates being at 0. So, you know, it's just a laner gap, you know. It's definitely not the jungler camping top again. Asuna with a great condemn out, but gets knocked up.
Yeah,
Asuna just does not matter.
He's kind of getting farmed up here, and Ranger is not really helping him. I feel like you have to at least protect the Vayne. If your Vayne is going to be pushing the wave and not freezing or controlling the wave near her tower, you do need to hover her because she is still pretty vulnerable to ganks, especially when the enemy jungler is so far ahead. And Sulpan is quite ahead. Actually opts into the Rift Herald up here. So with the little mana ray baby things, whatever those nasty little creatures are called, they are going to be able to take this first tower before the turret plates fall, which is very, very good for Sulpan. Also good for X-Ray. But as far as the game state, definitely want to focus on the gold on the Belveth. Dragon going to be spawning up here.
Is it something I didn't really highlight is that like the moment that one of the top laners decides to play a ranged champion like Vayne, you know, like Quinn, Gnar a little bit easier to not pay as much attention to, but with like Vayne and Quinn being the more popular top laners that are ranged, you have to camp the lane, like on both sides, right? You don't want to leave the lane alone because, you know, you have a tank playing into a Vayne. You don't want to let that just be a 1v1. It's going to go towards the Vayne, and you don't want the Vayne to get camped like the Vayne is this game. So the Trundle has to sit top and like perma camp. And we see Sulpan doing just that, just camping camping top, just making sure that the Ornn is not getting punished so severely that the Vayne is going to be a problem later in the game, and actually incurring a huge lead of his own from the camp, just picking up every single kill onto the Vayne.
Yeah. No, I mean, and although honestly, I think that the Mystic Ninja Cyclone's team comp is equipped to deal with the Belveth. The Trundle can ult it, worst case scenario, and then the Syndra knockback, the Soraka peel, and the Ashel, as well as the Condemn. The Belveth is not in a position to truly 1v9 this game, you know, barring just an absolutely massive amount of gold. So I think, you know, this one is not out of the way. Or, oh man, Pyrosis almost taken out again by Neutral Azurill. Neutral Azurill with the statement here. Doesn't want to go down sad. Not going to be able to find the solo kill there, but nearly finds his second solo bolo of the game.
I do think that when it comes to the Belveth, like, or MNC having the tools to deal with the Belveth, yes, they do, but it's never, or it should never just be the Belveth, right? It should be the Ornn and the Lissandra looking to start the engages for the side of Disco Spiders, right? They want to be the ones setting the Belveth up to make the plays in the mid and the late game, as, you know, one turret has already fallen and second Herald has spawned, so both supports will actually be here for this fight. Both ADCs seem to be just having a jolly old time farming bot, but it does look like, you know, just like some posturing across the map.
Ooh, Space Murph going in onto Thim, pops a cleanse in response to the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Them forced to flash away, held the exhaust there, didn't want to expend it in that trade for whatever reason. I also do want to say, Sonny, I think this Ashe build is way better this game compared to last game.
Oh, absolutely. I still think that the optimal play is going either like the Kraken into Triforce or even the like Astro Gliding build with like the Gale Force Phantom Dancer, or like the Gale Force into like Wit's End or Phantom Dancer, right? Like just trying to move as much as possible, but I don't think it's a terrible build this game. And Ranger just recalling on a ward and getting punished for it there.
Yeah, Ranger found out, taken down, and now I think the game is actually kind of breaking in favor of the Disco Spiders. They're now 2,000 gold up, able to secure priority, and really the only thing that Mr. Cyclones have going for them is this mid lane, which is a 20 CS advantage and a kill.
I mean, it's tough to say, like the Syndra's lead does definitely matter, being like a threat to one-shot somebody who, you know, is playing a little bit too aggressive with not enough health. But one problem that I think that the Syndra and the Ashe might end up having is there's two tanks on the side of Disco Spiders and a champion that is going to be tanking a lot, not just because of the HP that they'll have, but also because of the healing that they will be getting from just like inherently through the kit. Ranger might be caught out again.
Yeah, Ranger trying to retreat to his bot lane tower, but the damage is so big. The Soraka heal is even bigger, though, as Ranger is able to stay alive. He does pop the ultimate. It's now Thim, looks for the re-engage. Neutral Zero is here, finds no one with the stun, but finds the kill onto Pyrosis and the ultimate onto PNP. But the Syndra only able to find one, but still, Neutral Zero able to make an impact here, using that gold lead, now has a bounty himself.
Imagine buying heal cut. Like,
dude, heal cut is so weak. They should buff heal cut, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've played a lot of games with Soraka. Heal cut does things, right? Like, look how much health was just like, or how much damage was just mitigated from the healing there, right? Like 40% of that could still be going through the, like the Trundle could have been a look there, but the healing from the Trundle ultimate, from the Soraka burst healing, he was able to just completely like negate like probably like 600 damage from the side of Disco Spiders and was able to survive, and it stalled enough time for Neutral Zero to get back and X-ray TPs.
Yeah, the Drake fight is underway as Soulpan finds the smite and Ranger is the next target. He will be taken down by X-ray again. Asuna, this game does not have the teleport, so he's not able to match his X-ray. TP's down. Soulpan wins the 50-50. Best case scenario for Mystic Ninja Cyclones there was Ranger gets the smite and dies. Pyros is forced to use the stopwatch as Neutral Zero pops the ulti again.
So that actually looked kind of like it could have been good for the side of MNC, right? Tubbyton with a very clutch silence onto the Ornn, preventing him from getting the R2 off onto his ADC and himself. So it looked like it could have potentially been good, but obviously they just don't have the damage at this point in the game to deal with the Bel'Veth, to deal with the Ornn. So they were able to just kind of like walk in, kill one, take the dragon. You know, like that's really nice. Thanks for leeching us the dragon. Let's go to the next objective, which is Baron on the map right now. I do suspect both teams will very soon start setting up for it. And
ooh, Thim gets frozen and reheated by Space Murph. Taken down in the 2v1. Pyrosis uses everything though, Flash and Ignite. So won't have it up if they do try to look towards Baron, but the Ashe off the map, preventing this champion from getting items and resetting the Ravenous Hydra stacks.
I mean, I think Pyrosis was just a little bored. He only had 2 KP. He's 0, 2, and 2 before the play. We all know Pyrus, and Pyrosis, and we all love him because of how aggressive he is, how flashy he is, and maybe you could use the term coin flippy from time to time, but it's been quite a snooze fest is probably what he is thinking in the mid lane. He's not really able to trade with the Syndra, so I'm assuming that he just got bored and was like, you know what, yeah, let's kill this ADC really fast, and he was willing to kind of use some of his resources for it. He does still have his ultimate for a potential pick into a Baron take here.
Yeah, posturing around the Baron. I do agree this one has been kind of a snoozer. Most of the kills haven't come from fights. They've come from just ganks, like killing Austin on the side lane, killing Extra on the side lane, or some of the mid lane action has been pretty exciting. But now Lord Tubbyton caught out, forced to flash over the wall. Pyrosis extends the claw, but does not find any CC onto the MNC support. This could mean that the Baron posture is available for Disco Spiders. It's only 22 minutes into the game, though. It would be bold to try to start this with all 5 members of MNC on the map. Sulpan maybe caught out, but the Glacial Fissure finds Neutral as early. He's going to be taken out immediately. The Ornhorn connects, Plants and Poros finds him, and now Pyrosis on the backline. Thim is dead already. Lord Tubbyton is next to fall. Asuna trying to kite, but he's not. Gosu, there's not much he can do here. There's multiple members of Disco Spiders tracking him down. He goes for the flash, and Sulpan is dead. Asuna with the God play dodges the knockup from the Ornn. It's just Asuna and the Ranger, though. Surely the Vayne does not have the damage to deal, but the rest of the members is Lysandra now into the fight. Asuna forced to run away as Ranger is taken out, and now Space Smurf is here to collect. The slowed Vayne will burn. Space Smurf finds a double kill, and it's going to be 4 for 1 overall. No jungler, no problem. The Baron goes to the Spiders.
So the big part of the fight that I think allowed all of that to happen, obviously Asuna with really good kiting, but he just does not have the items to actually be able to carry a fight like that at this point in the game. But something that we have not actually brought up yet is the interaction between the Braum passive and the Bel'Veth, right? The Bel'Veth is able to dash onto a target, press E after Braum has put the first stack onto a target, and immediately stun them basically because of the extremely fast hit rate of the Bel'Veth E. It is like every single one of them count as an auto, and they all apply on hit effects. So it's like he gets knocked up into immediately getting stunned. Like there's really like no delay into Neutral Azurill getting stunned there. And it probably feels really bad to have that happen to you, really. But it is a really effective combination or like interaction that it's not the first time that Disco Spiders has actually utilized it in this game. They've utilized it a few times around the map, and I do like to see they kind of understand what their champions are able to do when paired together.
Yeah, and it sucks that the Syndra goes down first. This is your 9 CS a minute mid laner. This guy is kind of your hope. The Vayne was doing some work there, but obviously not enough, as Thim, thinking he maybe should have gone with the Ziggs this game, is able to survive this time, but the mid lane inhibitor tower will not, as that one goes down. But Ranger is on the flank. They're going to try to make the play. Neutral Zero finds 2 with the stun, but immediately walks into melee range and is getting chunked down by Sulpan. Lord Tubbyton with the ultimate. Asuna very, very low, but he's still alive on the backside, hitting Plants and Poros, but he will burn down. This is looking like it's winning, but X-Ray goes nuclear on the backline. He finds a 3-man knockup. Plants and Poros and Sulpan onto Ranger. Lord Tubbyton is doing so much work with the healing. It's a fight 1 for Mystic Ninja Cyclones. They only go 1 as it's not over yet. X-Ray maybe cut out Plants and Poros and Sulpan. Maybe going to be able to turn this as they go back onto Ranger. But Lord Tubbyton is still alive and well. The mana bar is dropping, and Thim is spitting damage down. Neutral Zero finds another kill. The shutdown for Thim onto X-Ray. Is this the throw that the Ninja Cyclones need?
I mean, there's just so much going on in this fight, right? You see Sulpan trying to 1v3 on the side, and the duo of Ranger and Asuna are actually able to pull off the kill onto Pyrosis and Space Smurf there, which is probably crucial to that fight actually working. And Finn is caught out right as Dragon is spawning, but his team's already on it. Maybe they're able to burn it before they get there.
Yeah, the Drake, the second Drake, objective bounty no less, and the Mountain Drake always good defensive stats. But Sulpan, once the fight, he has the evolved form. Look at him just float over the walls, man. What a champion. Who enjoys playing that, by the way?
I actually have no idea how you're able to jump over the walls on Velvet. Dude, I've tried so many times, I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, you got to be in the soul suck form. You got to pick up someone's like coral energy or their like void ball or whatever, and then you can do it. Personally, I despise playing Belveth. I think it is just the most boring thing ever. Zero mechanics.
What do you mean? You have so many dashes.
Yeah,
dashes
but it's
mean
like
mechanics, right?
No. When your dashes are like zero consequence to dashing, it's nah.
I mean, you can dash in and then you can dash right back out. Right? Like, there's a lot of champions that can kind of do that, right? Like Zoe kind of does that. Who like Zed can do that.
That is sick.
Just gonna keep listing off champions. Yone can do that.
Austin knows about that.
Yeah, Yasuo can kind of do that if he has minions, you know?
Yeah, dude, Ranger is just giving every single camp to his carries. 135 CS. Sulpan is still farming up very well. Space Marf is also farming up very well. I think Pyrosis may be giving a little bit of CS here, as the Tristana farm matches the Syndra farm and the Ashe farm matches the Lissandra farm. But man, I would love to see Mystic Ninja Cyclones win another fight like they did that last one. But the odds are stacked against them. Only 3k though is the gold lead here, Sunny. Not insurmountable at all. Syndra is on 3 items. He just hit death cap. Things are looking pretty playable here for Mystic Ninja Cyclones, but these ornaments are in for every single member except Plants and Poros, I believe. That's not true. Pyrosis also does not have the Orin upgrade yet.
I mean, I think that they just need to fight front to back for the side of Disco Spiders, and
not really sure what just happened there, but the Call of the Forge God was used.
It was silenced by the Soraka. Yep.
Okay, yeah, so not able to find their return charge on that means that nothing goes down.
I mean, yeah, it's like the side of Disco Spiders wants to kind of play more to disengage and, you know, kind of use the fact that they have 3 ranged carries on their team versus the 3 melees and the Lissandra and Tristana, right? It's a very short-ranged comp for the side of Disco Spiders, so MNC does want to try to abuse that as much as possible. And personally, what I was saying is I think that Disco Spiders just needs to try to get like a clean 5v5 front to back off onto MNC, and obviously the silences will be coming through from the Soraka, but
what is happening? X-Ray TP's in and immediately flashes. Pyros is dead already. Yo, this could be a Mystic Ninja Cyclones Baron here. I'm not sure if Disco Spiders do want to go ahead and take the 4v5. They might just end up pushing mid. It looks like they're maybe going to try to fight. Sulpan is lurking. Space Marf is here. They do have the damage. X-Ray does not have his ultimate available yet. And yeah, Disco Spider is just going to go ahead and try to take this in him. But Space Marf hitting the wave means they're not going to be able to get anything here. They can try. The Tristana is taking the inhib very, very fast. With the Baron recalls, Mystic Ninja Cyclones are already here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not up yet, as Sulpan is also able to trade a tower. So this play is not so bad in terms of flat gold if no one dies here for Disco Spiders. But the Baron control with the Drake spawning could be very, very good for MNC.
And it is the second.
Ooh, Plants and Poros. Yeah, throws the Braum Shield south and is going to have to use his flash as a result. Neutral Zero able to connect the stun. They're going to keep going. Ranger puts up the pillar and the stun connects again. Oh, the Syndra damage is huge on the Space Smurf. Both of the Disco Spiders bot lanes incredibly low. Plants and Poros is going to take one for the team. Will go down. This means the Drake is guaranteed now for Mystic Ninja Cyclones.
And I mean, it just comes down to like Neutral Azurill is able to perform on a very strong, you know, like longer range control mage and Pyrosis is on the Lissandra, not really a champion known for being like the 1v9 champion as much as like Syndra would be kind of considered to be. And it's at a point in the game where Disco Spiders might be a little afraid of like potentially losing here if they are able to stall it out. Obviously they did take the inhib. I would like to criticize the decision to take the inhib because they're not going to be able to do anything off of it proactively. You could argue like, oh, it's going to stall out their Baron, but I don't think Disco Spiders wants to let this game scale out. I think that they want to end the game as soon as possible versus the team comp that MNC has drafted, right? They have 2 ADCs, they have a control mage, they have a Soraka, right? Extraordinarily large amounts of scaling on the side of MNC. And I mean, the best scaling champion that they have on Disco Spiders is the Bel'Veth, right? Infinite attack speed scaling. But what happens when you aren't able to reach anybody or you get one shot because you have built no MR, by the way? I think that is really silly from Soulpan. Obviously, I have not seen like the death recaps. That's kind of what I use to judge what I should be building and when I should be building it. But the ultimate expended from Pyrosis for absolutely nothing does not feel good here.
Pyrosis a bit out of his element so far in this game. Ranger going to go ahead and secure the red buff. Yeah, Asuna actually might have saved Pyrosis by condemning him away. Disco Spiders still seem in control, probably because that mid inhib is down. I do agree with your criticism, Sunny. But I think there's an argument that, like you said, it does slow down the Baron, and that's kind of enough to justify it. But yeah, giving over that, 100 gold per super minion definitely does not feel great, especially since you don't get anything off the map pressure. But, if we look at what the Baron value was for Mystic Ninja Cyclones, pretty minimal. All the structures that were standing before are still standing, I believe. Not sure if any of the outer towers actually ended up going down during that, or if they were already down. But
I mean, the gold lead has shrank. Obviously, Baron giving 1.5 is basically shrunk by roughly that much. Maybe a little more or a little less, depending on what's happening on the map. With the tier 2 tower falling, is probably a little less than 1.5k gold, swinging back into the favor of MNC. But it feels kind of bad trying to scale into a double ADC and a control mage comp. I think that there's not much that they'll be able to do, like a few more minutes into the game, right? Especially if it goes to 40 minutes when multiple people are hitting 5-6 items. I don't think there's going to be really anything for the Lissandra to be doing other than like looking for like an E flash into ulting herself onto the entire backline of MNC. And they have a Soraka, like he might be like Tubbington might just be able to silence right after the Lissandra flashes or after they complete the E, and then the Lissandra just goes in and is now a sitting duck who is literally not able to cast any of their spells. And it feels like they just need to try to, like I said earlier, like just look for the engages with the Ornn ultimate from afar. I don't think that you want to earn ult when the Soraka is even like 1.5 green.
Yeah, this might be the play. The claw. Lord Tubbington immediately gets ulted, and he is taken down. Not quite yet. Able to use the last wish or whatever his ultimate is called. Soulpan in hot pursuit, but Ranger there to defend his support, and Lord Tubbington survives just barely. Soulpan still going for this. Might cost him his life as Neutral Zero finds the Sky to the weekend. Asuna with the flag on the vein. Ranger will be shut down by playing some Poros, and Asuna in melee mode goes down as well. Nearly takes out Space Mark, but not quite. X-Ray with the flash over the wall into the 3-man knockup. Monstrous performance from the Disco Spiders top laner, and it will win them the game. 5 for 1, Nexus for none. This is going to be the end. Disco Spiders find the fight off the back of X-Ray's Ornn. Man, that could have gone either way, but somehow they find the angle. One Nexus tower down, the other Nexus tower soon to fall, and the Nexus itself. Disco Spiders 2-0 Mystic Ninja Cyclones, who, man, they almost rallied there.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they drafted themselves into kind of having to play a more perfect game than Disco Spiders had to, and it did get kind of scary looking for the side of Disco Spiders there, but I think that X-Ray kind of identified that he does need to find the miracle engages for his team. He needs to be the front line for his team, like the setup for his team. And Pyrosis kind of realized that as well. He started the fight, and X-Ray was able to finish it with that. Like, I'm pretty sure that's his third 3-man knockup of the game. I'm really impressed by the way that he played this series.
Yeah. Really, really good series overall. It looked like Mystic Ninja Cyclones maybe going to be able to take that one back. But nonetheless, it's GG's to all, as we will be saying goodnight here at the Somebody Sports broadcast, concluding as that series is now over. I do want to say, of course, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be back with more official streams. Keep your eye on the announcements channel for now. Have a good rest of your night.